Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome. Happy autumn day. How are you guys doing this morning? Hey, Starseeker. Good morning. Hi, Kaz. Good to see you. How are you guys doing? Hello, Aditi. And let me know what you're grateful for this moment. Happy first day of fall. Yes. Is anyone feeling tired, release energies? I think it's still carrying on from the full moon. Do you feel that from Monday or even Sunday, let's say? And also the Schumann frequency is so high the last couple of days. And also, if anyone is from Melbourne, hope you're all safe and fine. Yeah, so much changes on the earth now, isn't it? Starting to feel inspired and energetic now. That's great. Getting infused with all the good vibes, right? Hey, Bonnie, good to see you. I missed being here yesterday. Lovely. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Me too. Autumn is my favorite too, with all the colors. Here it started a little early. I felt with all the leaves falling, but it's so magical seeing all the color changes. I see that same replica happening to us as well. We shred a lot of things as well as going into the hibernation, the winter months just before. They're just like the leaves, the trees speaking. There is a communication within us as well. And this is where, when that release is happening, we feel tired. It's like you, it feels tired in a way, is you are holding up so much and you're releasing, and now you're trying to feel like what is yours as well, like that empty, you're filling up. Yeah, so that's all the shift and changes. And I love my hibernation months as well. December, I'm not super productive. I love to be cozy there. Pumpkin spice season, yes. My eldest daughter, she loves pumpkin spices. She got the cheesecake pumpkin spice. She was so like, wow, love it. It's not for me, but she loves it. Yeah, all the Starbucks, all the coffee places is with the pumpkin spice now, isn't it? So welcome, guys. This is perfect. I was thinking this morning, how perfect is this? When I scheduled it, I didn't even think actively that today is the autumn day. And here the topic is about the self-care. Having the toolkit with you is so important, isn't it? With all that recharge of energies, taking care of ourselves, how important it is. Some of these have been from my own, again, like using over the years, and also from my book where I wrote the whole chapter about self-care. So I'm going to go through some of them, and there is a meditation as well that we'll be doing at the end, so I need to remember that. So getting into that self-care, just before even we begin, if anyone has got a journal or a piece of paper and a pen, or like you can type up in your mobile or a laptop, a couple of things to write down before we begin is what are the 10 things that you love about you? 10 things that you love about you. Don't think too much, just write. And let me know if anyone has a difficulty. And once you have written, let me know. Have you ever done this before? 10 things that you love about yourself to write. If it's your first time, sometimes it does take time to recollect or praise ourselves because we are not used to doing it. But if someone has done this before, it's super easy, super natural, and you would write definitely more than 10 as well. I do this usually in my Reiki workshops. When I do at the level 1, people do take time to write even like 3 or 4. But then in level 2, they can write like 6, 7. And level 3, they usually write like 20 things. Yeah, it just becomes so natural because we are loving ourselves. We do accept ourselves just the way we are, and we honor that. But if it's the same thing that we say to write about our children or our loved ones, we write without even thinking. Generally, when it comes to ourselves, we are not used to praising, giving credits, giving a moment of like, well done to ourselves, And this is where the challenge and the struggle does come. I had the struggle the first time I was doing it when I was learning Reiki, when my master said me to write it. Oh my God, it was such a challenge. No, like someone else is better than me. Like, so I'm not, I was comparing myself rather than accepting like what is really good about me. So hands up if anyone feels that way. Hey, Nicole, good to see you. She's a wonderful teacher on IT here. I think she's back with her live soon, sometime this week, right, Nicole? Yes. So yeah, 10 things that you love about yourself, and also highlight what are your favorite things about it. Say, for example, 10 things about, if I'm given the option to write, I would be writing like, I like the outgoing nature of me, and I like the way I cook food, I serve, and also like for the shelter, I do cook with the love, like the energy I put in the food. I just love it. And I'm a good host. And when we are saying that, there could be that left side of it, the negative chatter saying, no, 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 you're not good. Like, no, somebody else is good or somebody else is doing better than you. But is that chatter we need to stop and raise our vibration or the loudness when we praise ourselves and say, no, I deserve this to be called. This is what I know about me right now. I'm good at it, and this is where you need to be bringing that energy. So you got had to be past 5. All right. Okay, cool. That's still good, Star Seeker. You got 5 of them. That's well done. Amazing. Yeah. Hold on to those. Yeah. We'll be coming back to it later as well and rechecking on them. And in the meantime, if something is coming up that you are recollecting, remembering to write it, please do add them up. Yeah. Got to 10. Yay. Well done. Who got 10? Who else is in that bucket? Don't be shy. Just let us know. Lovely, lovely. Kind heart, my food, creative need for nature, Reiki center plant, bunny caretaker. Oh my God, you got bunnies. Lovely, strong feet. Wow, that's awesome, Nicole. Amanda, lovely. So coming back to the self-care is all about looking after ourselves, the relation with ourselves. I was reading Louise Hay books initially, and she was so much talking about self-care, but I was struggling to implement in my own life because we were conditioned, or when I was growing up, I think most of you would relate, I was conditioned with self-care is a guilt. It's not, we don't deserve it, especially as a woman. And also like being a mother, self-care is not your priority at all. This is always about your family needs comes first and then you. But by the time it comes to us, we are either tired, we don't have that same chest to do look after ourselves. We say, whatever, we just become the secondary even to ourselves, and when that happens, of course, the family, like, they grew up in the same way as well. They're going to treat the same way as we are treating ourselves. So there is not going to be any big change or anything. In one incident, I remember very clearly that shifted my perspective to bring that into reality was when my in-laws came to mind my baby when I was going back into work, my first child. I noticed that she was eating for not second baby, because she was second child, she was taking a longer time to eat food. Like, she would be eating for an hour, is very slow feeder with her reflex and everything. And then I noticed that my mother-in-law, she was eating her lunch or dinner and then serving the food for my daughter. At first, I didn't understand it. I did even question, saying, like, this is new for me. Like, my mother never did. I never did that way. I was always feeding the children, no matter how late it was, tired and everything, and then consuming the food. But then one good thing she said is, if I don't look after myself, if I'm starving, I'm going to be cranky and I don't want to give the same energy to the child. So I'm looking after myself and then feeding with full energy, so I don't feel cranky for an hour to feed her, and which is a good energy. I'm trying to put it out. Oh, wow. That was like opening up for me, to see how self-care is so important, to look after, to give the energy for the rest of your family as well. Because each one of us are so important in our pillars. Like, if you think about in your family, and if we don't look after ourselves, this is going to be a fallback. And what is that? We are building on a weaker pillars, right? Or a weaker foundation. And that way, I totally got, like, whatever I was reading in the books, to see that example and slowly implement it. Now, like, at the time, I took time to implement it slowly, small steps, like, taking time, like 30 minutes to read a book, or even before that, it was 7 minutes. I know for sure. I used to do this chakra meditation for 7 minutes and do self healing Reiki. And that is how I began the journey of taking some time for myself and saying, hey, just for 10 minutes, don't disturb me, my family and my eldest child. And then now they know, like, if I'm off, I close the door, it's my private space, and even last year, that helped a lot. We all could have our own little moments of time in togetherness, but we weren't like on top of each other being in the home with the whole pandemic, not able to go out, because everyone valued their own self time. In taking care of ourselves is a strength. And when you recharge, when you are taking care, again, not being guilty, but it is you minding yourself, building your own foundation strongly, and then being there for your family or a friend who needs you is in a better place, isn't it? When we are feeling so like low, not good about ourselves, how can we even help someone? Or where is that wisdom or empathy coming from, isn't it? It's like walking your talk, like being in that, being the change, and then talking about it. It resonates even for whoever is listening to it or whoever you're trying to help as well. So if that you feel comfortable with, just take in. And the things that I'm going to share are so many of those self-care tools, but these have been used and implemented in a slow step by step. If something doesn't resonate to you at this moment of time, park it and come back to it later and think like, okay, what do I need now? Like, what else can I do here? Or why am I not doing it? Just have that thoughts pondering around. And now nobody is perfect. We are all here to be seeing the shift, to learn and evolve, like, right? And when I'm feeling like, oh, I tried everything, to shift my thought, take care of myself. What else have I got? Like to learn outside is where I'm seeking again. And we are always constantly learning from the things that we want to improve. And coming back to the whole self care, it's a big myth and also such a condition that we all grew up with, as very rarely we would have seen our mothers taking time for themselves to look after themselves, right? Or any of the aunts or any of the women or anyone else. Like it's all always about like get the needs for the family, take care of them, that's it. Like, so you haven't seen the change in your family. Now when you're trying to feel this is right for you, or hearing like that makes sense, but when you go back to the family dynamics, you see like, oh, no one is doing, how am I going to do this? Where is this hurdle? Or how do I take the first step? This is a challenge that we all get into. Like, it's always that first step is the hurdle that we find it into the new path that you're paving. But think about it. I always thought, if I don't do this for myself, what am I going to teach my children? Like, am I teaching the same thing that I learned, which I don't feel right about it? Or am I going to do the change no matter how harder it is, and show them the path? This is doable. It's just you need to take in charge of yourself. Yeah. And this is where the changes do come in, for knowing that why do we want to do it? For whom do we want to do it? And just because you have those good things about you or the loving things about you, that goes back again and again. Like, how am I going to feed that good things in me, or the loving character that I have in me? How am I going to feed it? Not feed this person which is coming from the guilt, or the mom telling like, no, you don't deserve this, you don't need to do this. Like, it's always your family that you have to take care of. Your needs are the last things. Like, yeah. And a lot of us do struggle with, like, is the career to be important, or the family to be important, or like, has anyone has got the children where you send your children to the crash and felt that guilt there? So that is the biggest thing, again, questioning, isn't it? Do I need to work? Do I need to look after my own sanity, or just give up and be there for the children? Some, it all depends on the personal choices as well. Like, somewhere you're natural at being a mother, being a caretaker, that's perfectly fine. But also, are you really satisfied inside out? I've seen some of my friends who say they love it absolutely, but inside the hollowness is growing as well. It's not the strong foundation we are building as we are doing this. And what you find the joy, do it complete as building together. Yeah. And now in the self-care tools, knowing why is it important for you? And also I see it as like, what are the tools that I need, and what can I do in the areas of my life? I usually divide it into my physical self-care needs, emotional self-care needs, or psychological self-care needs, and that way when you section them, it's easier. Like right today, oh, is it my physical need that is calling in for, like, do I need to take some time just to do some gentle movements, or do I need to do some stretches? Is that what it's calling for? Or the other day is like, self-care from the emotions. Are there too many emotions? Have I not unwinded them or written down in a journal, or have I not released them? So again, there could be another character of it coming out. And self-care is just not about going into the spa, or booking a holiday, going out with the girlfriends. It's also doable at your own home with no expense involved. And it's only like, start with 10 minutes time for yourself. And that's good enough to begin your journey into your self-care. I heard this quote from Tony Robbins years ago, where he said, like, if a person doesn't have 10 minutes for themselves, where is your life going? What are you doing with it? Like, we all run and say, like, I don't have time. I can't do this. I can't juggle too many things now. My plate is already full. Like, I can't take it. How many of us did say that? I did say that as well, like, but then I asked myself, can I really not squeeze 5 to 10 minutes in my life? No, I can. And that is how things do shift. You are giving permission to yourself, and do it with a small chunk of a time rather than a huge chunk of time saying, oh, 1 hour every day, I want to do this. Like, it may not be practical for everyone. If you have got, like, parents to take care of, family needs to be there, or you got a kind of a crazy work life as well, like, so think about, like, what is your dynamics, and what is that you truly can commit to, and working from that portal is so important as well. Are you guys with me on this? Do you relate with it? The self-limiting thoughts or beliefs that are coming in with the self-care? Yeah, let me know in the comments if you're resonating. What I find is, like, having that self-care thing is about, like, not a luxury, but that's becoming a need for each one of us. Yeah, it's like it does help with our physical health, mental health, and the strength that you're building inside out. And as these two are a strong, better place, your health improves as well. Like, if someone is going through a chronic illness, generally chronic illness is lack of love, and you're feeling that, and then it becomes much easier to bring yourself as a complete rather than a soul loss of, I just couldn't do these things. And one of the biggest regrets of people who are dying, or they are in the nursing homes, is, wish I gave more time to myself, wish I did all the things I wanted to do, or wish I completed my bucket list, or even wrote my bucket list. And here we are thinking, like, when I retire, I'm going to do, or when I retire, it's the time for my bingo time, or going into the spas, or having those luxury holidays. But how guarantee are we even to think we are going to live that far, or be healthy that far to do those things? And what is it really stopping right now to do it? And that is the most important question. I've seen many, like, men in my life who have worked super hard, but after retirement, it's like dropping down. Like, yeah, they hit a wall, they have been running, they hit a wall, and they just don't know how to do this. And this applies to the men as well. As, like, have you been looking after, have you been doing something that ignites you, that brings a passion, that brings a drive in your life, that you want to do it, like, and that's the most important thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden at 65, to rethink, recalibrate, what is my purpose, what am I going to do, is going to be hard. So it's never too late to begin that journey, incorporating giving time for ourselves. And self-care is just not that pampering time. This is also like vision time, like, your goal setting time as well. You valuing with your thoughts. Yeah. And that's the most important thing here we can do to improve the overall well-being in our life. And this is where, like, you will feel that self-inquiry, or honoring the time with your journal, is such a powerful tool that you're going to do it. And I see that, like, on Insighttimer, we can be spending so many hours. I do spend, like, as well, or on podcast listening as well, doing my chores and listening to it. But then, am I even taking time to implement that in my life? You're only consuming, but are we doing that work, or are we even dedicating the time to do it? Yeah, this is again, like, we need to really think about it. um, Over the summer, my children were doing so many classes, online classes, about so many other crazy creative stuff and all that. And I was asking them, just write 3 things after each of the class that you have been, that what you learned, what you love about it. Even summarizing that will help us, like, 1 hour we listen to something, but summarizing into 3 bullet points will help us, like, oh, these are my go-to actions. This is what I'm going to do now. And that is it. You surrender and you take care of it. Yeah. And that is so important as well. And even like with the Insight Timer now, like when I do this, I quickly jot down the things, what I learned here, what I really enjoyed from this teacher. I'm going to take it in and implement it. Or sometimes they are just reaffirming what I know already. And I feel like, oh, cool. So I'm on the same sync, like, of doing things. And this is amazing. Like I can connect to this soul who does get it. Like, so just acknowledging that moments are so important as well. Yeah. And this is where the healing starts through the self-care. And this is something deeper that we are going in rather than addressing just on the surface levels. Yeah. We're not hiding it, but we are tapping deep inside and unrevealing the strengths of who we are as well. Yeah. It's like you're getting to know yourself for the first time, and like an affair you're having. There is this author, Big Magic. I don't know if you guys read that book by Liz Gilbert, who is the author of the Eat, Pray, Love. She writes like, have an affair with yourself, like sneak out, do something creative at 4 in the morning, like, or in the midnight, sneak out, just like you were sneaking out and seeing your boyfriends when you were younger or girlfriends. And now is the time you do that. You'll feel good about yourself. You will truly enjoy. Has anyone read that book, Big Magic? That is my favorite one for creativity. Yeah. It's so inspirational, like how she writes it down and everything. And also, like, self-care gives us that the dynamics of having the boundaries. Yeah, it's a good book, right? Yeah. Very light read, but it disappeared. Okay. I gave it to my good friend to read it. Yeah, sometimes books go to the right people. That's it. Yeah, self-care also does is on the emotional things, like it helps us with the forgiveness and releasing things that we are carrying in. Like when you are thinking about self-care, you're putting all that energetic boundaries as well, how you're going to entertain. Like, if I'm entertaining a person who is toxic for an hour every day, I'm going to put that self-care in practice and take that an hour away from that person and put the boundary. Actually, I'm busy now, I can't do this for you. How about we do it like tomorrow? Like, talk to them, or like, send a message, or you're giving that space because you are valuing something bigger than being surrendering in the toxic environment. And also sometimes we do in our already the busy schedule some things that are boring. Something doesn't do anything in our heart, but you're doing it. But it is important as well to stop and check in. What is the fun here? Can I improve it? Or what am I looking for? Like, there used to be days like I used to wash the dishes and absolutely hate it. Like, is anyone with me on that? And then read somewhere with Thich Nhat Hanh on his meditations book saying like you need to really be enjoying the process of dishes, watching the dirt being released, like being grateful for all the food that you were able to serve, cook in those dishes, people being happy, and all those thoughts going in with the present moment. As you're washing the dishes, you're part of the flow rather than the chore of it. It just shifted, like, it's being totally in that present moment. The good thing is the dishes were shinier as well. Like, yeah, when you're just being, I think he talks about the teacups being washed in his book. So yes, everything then becomes a different perspective and much lighter rather than like, oh, one more thing to do, like, so do put that present, uh, bringing your mind into the present aspect and working on any of the things that you don't enjoy as well. So yeah, that really shifted. Now I don't mind, like, what am I going to do or anything. Yeah. And with the self-care as well, like, just like I reacted with my mother-in-law, there is that you may cause a threat to your relations as well. Like, yeah, if your partner hasn't been seeing you taking care and all of a sudden you're taking care of yourself, of course he will have his doubts, of course he's going to be uncomfortable with he or she. So do train them, this is why you're doing it, this is what you want to do it. So bringing them along, you're going to teach them as well how relevant it is to hold yourself together. And definitely what the biggest changes I've noticed over the last 10 years is a lot of people are speaking up. We are finding our tribe who are doing more of it, and we are not feeling it like an abnormal thing or something that we need to hide about it. Yeah, we are very comfortable about doing it together as well, and you're having someone to hold you as well, yeah, in this whole new process. And definitely it's different, like, it's self-care also. Sometimes people do think like self-care, am I just focusing on something else and avoiding what's really needed? Like, it's not about hiding our sadness or hiding our emotions or running away, but until before the self-care, we were doing it, we are doing it, if we are not raising ourselves to the self-care. Because I wouldn't be sitting down and analyzing, like, hey, on Sunday I had a cranky time, like, before the full moon energy. And if self care wasn't there, I wouldn't have done the 20 minutes bath time, or even journal down my emotions, because I was just not aware of it, how to do it. I was addressing those emotions and seeing where it is coming from and what do I need to release as well. Like, being again part of my thought, being in that moment. So again, self-care is that beauty that brings us with our emotions and the thoughts as well. Yeah, everything together. It's not we are avoiding or running away from anything. And definitely when we do the true self-care, like, it's not about the comfort, it's about actually a journey. It's about the healing that goes into it. Like, one of the self-care things that I do practice is Reiki. If you are not into Reiki, you can use crystals or you can use meditations, but some of these tools help us to add another beautiful layer onto the things and the commitments that you're doing already. Yeah, so definitely that helps. Yeah, but to be honest, I think Reiki has brought that 7 minutes time for me at the very start, that where we had to commit and do the healing to ourselves. So that brought, and self-care turns into self-love as well, or the vice versa. The more you love yourself, the more you really bring a happiness to do more of the things that you love about it, and which is amazing. Yeah, I never left my children and went anywhere. But as I was practicing this, there was this workshop in London. I had to go. I wanted to go, and it was a writers' workshop from Hay House. And my husband said, "No, you so deserve it. You need to do it, and you need to go." And so I just turned up and I went for a whole 3 days, and that was like, oh my God, how did I do it? Like, it was just amazing. Yeah, and this is again like your family knows it. They will be valuing you as you are valuing yourself, which is so important. So do check yourself, like, how are you prioritizing yourself and how are you treating yourself? And those are the so important things. And also it helps us to be so truthful to ourselves, and which is important, right? When you're not true to yourself or honest with yourself, who else is going to be? And that is where we need to be checking with ourselves, check in with our truth, with our honesty all the time. Now, getting back into the tools itself, like, I'll be sharing some of the tools that I have written down on all the 4 categories that I think will be helpful, like, the self-care tools for the mind, body, spirit, and for the heart as well. So that is going to be a very good one, yeah, to check in with ourselves. So yeah, if you guys have a pen and a paper, that will be great to write these things. But you can see like what you're already doing, some of the things that you might be already doing it. So it is interesting. And if it is a new thing, perfect. Again, like, Take it in. So self-care tools for the mind, what I was doing is having the stress ball, like when you're totally stressed or when you are so much happening in your mind space. So stress ball is amazing, or a good one technique to try it out. And for me, stress balls, sometimes they do work, sometimes they don't. I need to have kinetic things as well, or this pendulum movements. I think I can take it. So this is one of my thing, like any kinetics as well are great to spend some time and notice what's happening with your mind. And as you are just focusing on to that present thing, you will be stop worrying about anything else, not going to the past or the future. You're just with the moment here. So that is so important as well. Something having a physical thing. Yeah, stress balls does the same in this one. Or then I have a glitter jar, or like this one, this little gel coming down. I do watch it. It literally takes a minute or so. Again, as I'm watching this whole process, or those lava lamps as well, they are fantastic. And you are just being there. And literally, it's only a minute, right? But you are surrendering to yourself for that whole minute, which is so needed and so interesting one. Yeah, how we do it. And the other one is a coloring book. Like there was a big shift, I think 4 or 5 years ago, mandala coloring books, like, right? Has anyone ever tried them? They are so anchoring us into the flow of the colors, into the patterns, into the designs as well. So definitely, like, the mandala coloring books are amazing. Or doodling as well. Doodling is my favorite, even in the college as well. Used to doodle if the lectures were boring. That's my way of getting into my dreamy state. Like such a dreamer, I'd be going into the visual things. So yes, a lot of it was into like how you sketch and get into it. And now feeding your self with positivity. Of course, being on the IT here is amazing that we are feeding a lot onto the positivity all the time. There is so many amazing teachers, like, in an hour, like I'd be spending, sometimes I'll be taking said, like when I put down the main points, it's the three things that I take down. But just think about like 1 hour, only 3 points, but that's all you needed. Just like when you read a good book, it's only one statement you remember out of the whole 500 pages of the book, but that was so needed for you at that moment of time, right? So having that recapping yourself is so important to boost your positivity. And now, rather than saying I'm going to change myself whole over, like, within 24 hours, no, taking a slow steps and say like, hey, today I'm going to work on my limiting belief of self-love. Tomorrow I'm going to work on, like, or next week I'm going to work on like the limiting belief of money, maybe, like, so we are slowly shifting where the thoughts are coming, rather than in one day we are thinking about a magic wand and it's going to shift, but actually that's going to be more pressure as well. And it goes back that we are not accepting as we are, and we want a bigger changes, that where we miss that we need to love ourselves, we need to be gentle with ourselves and take care of ourselves as well. Yeah, so that is so important in doing that. Affirmation cards, like if anyone is into the oracle decks or anything, any kind of oracle decks or affirmation cards are great. Like, as you dedicate that time for you, hey, in 5 minutes, like, this is my time with my altar, or whatever my spiritual corner is with a meditation or something. That is my beautiful time. I'm going to shuffle the cards and pick the card up and just read the message and be with that message just for a few moments and see what happens. Like, that is a magic again, you're giving and honoring. So here is a card I picked up for us all. The more I attune my energy with appreciation, the more the universe will deliver. How apt is that for our self-care? The more I attune my energy with appreciation, the more the universe will deliver. So here we are surrendering and we are asking more energy to fill it. Just only when we surrender to that, what we have, we are able to bring. So having these affirmation cards or the oracle decks are amazing. These are from the Gabby Bernstein Oracle cards, Spirit Junkie, I think. Yeah, I got two of them, Super Attractor and Spirit Junkie. I'm not sure which one is which. Yeah, both are very good ones. Yeah, or Louise Hay affirmation cards are super good as well. Anything. Those are kind of affirmation ones. Angel Oracle cards, there are many of them. Yeah, so anything that the drawings that inspire you, the words that inspire you, go get them, or have those calendars as well with the positive affirmations. They are super good as well. Yeah. Having a hobby as well in your self-care, physically doing something like, last year I was doing a lot of crocheting. Yeah. With the self-care, I was so restless. Like, I'm not a TV watcher, active TV watcher. I need to be doing something parallelly, like first time not knowing what to do with our pandemic, a whole shutdown. I got a lot of wool and started crocheting for first time and a lot of years. So we did a lot of caps, hats, scarves, and a big, huge blanket. But at the end, I felt so good. That self-care was turning into that whole hobby time as well. So go grab a hobby or something that you always wanted to do it. Now is the time to do it. Be Hobbies generally with the hands are very good, because again, it's a mind and the hand mode of conversations, like, the skills of like thinking and not being on autopilot and going with the process. That's so important. Art, photography, like, definitely walking the nature as well is good. But also when you're walking in the nature, do notice, what do you see there around? Like, is there a new signboard, or is there a new flower, or there is a new weed popping out on the path that you're going in? So be observant of the path that you're in as well. So that helps, like giving you actual proper recharge time. But when you are with that whole routine of it and you're still in your clutter of thoughts, you're not going to see much difference straight away. To see the difference, really, we need to anchor ourselves to be in that beautiful, perfect moment of life. Yeah, it's so important. Going out to the museums or writing your gratitude things are so important. Yeah, definitely going to the museums and just like, what is your interest? Like, for me, the old artifacts, those kind of museums are my kind of a thing. Some people love the paintings part of it, or archaeology things, like, so discover what's around as well. And going there again, you're going back into the history somewhere, not with your present, what's happening in your life, but you're kind of bringing a knowledge and information into your brain, feeding more new things into your life, rather than the same chatterbox happening in your mind, right? So this literally physically, they stop processing what we don't need to process and bring in a good vibe. Yeah, so that does definitely help. And I love Tai Chi, and Tai Chi helps as well, like, to bring in an energy of like a shift and a change. It's like when you're doing Tai Chi or yoga, you really can't be somewhere else. Like, you will have a miss, or you'll fall down, or like you tip over. So you need to be really present with the teacher that you're in with. Yeah. Um, I see Elvin's donations, but there are too many coming in. Elvin, I don't know if that's a spammer, or maybe someone needs to check that from Insighttimer. Yeah. Thank you so much, Elvin, like for your donation, but I guess too many there. Yeah. So Tai Chi, yoga definitely helps, or Pilates as well. These are my physical go-to things, or being in like a 30 minutes a strong workout as well, again, being in that part of it. Yeah. The other self-care tools for the body. again, for the body, it's all about like, doing all these things, but also about like something that you need to be physically holding on to. I find a scalp massager or something like, or doing head massage for myself is super soothing, but also de-stresses. It's good for the hair growth, and also it's good for cooling down your brain, your head as well, like, so definitely look into spending some time with yourself. And this is kind of like, being there, totally taking care of your physical body as well. Your physical body, your mind, and the spirit has to be together to be aligned to take you forward as a package rather than not one thing or the other out. Yeah. So do spend time, like, doing a hand massage, even. Yeah. Which is, uh, fun, but also you're just checking like, the strength of your fingers, the touch of your fingers and everything. It just soothes you, and you're actually being grateful for, hey, thank you, my fingers, my hands, like, for taking care of me. And that is so important. Yeah. And honoring that beautiful space, so do head massage or the palms as well, like either of them, or the feet, like, feet, not everyone likes it, is what my reflexologist used to say, like they wouldn't like touching it or be touched by others. But like, hey, if you feel comfortable, like, you can just massage them. Maybe before your bedtime routines, incorporate like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, like, and say like, okay, I'm winding down. And think about like when you wind down slowly, or coming off the gadgets, light music, some lavender oil. This is like honoring your space, and then you are totally in that beautiful, relaxing state. And think about, sleep will be natural then, because you're not carrying a heavy load to the bed and trying to switch off straight away, right? Um, I find like, I think over the Christmas time or something last year, we were watching these Hunger Games movies, and I couldn't sleep. That was too much for me, just because my children wanted to. I was watching them. It was just too much, and I couldn't sleep. And I said, no more of such movies late into the evening. Maybe in the daytime, at least I can process, not take them into the bed and to toss and turn, like, the whole anxiety. I felt like, oh my God, what's happening here? I don't know if anyone watched Hunger Games. That was not my thing. It was good, but not my kind of a thing. Yeah. And so, yeah, again, knowing what is causing, how you can stop it and not take it forward is so important. Unwinding yourself right before the bedtime is super good as well with your self-care things. Dry brushing or a weighted blanket as well. Again, these are the physical ways that you feel switch off. This is your time, like, cuddle up. And when you cuddle up, rather than with your gadget, maybe cuddle up with a book that you can read, or a poetry thing that you would like to, or have a teddy bear. Like, teddy bears do healing even for the adults. They're not just for the kids, like, um, hands up, like, who likes teddy bears? Even as adults, I love them, like, yeah. So definitely that is bringing that inner child out, having some fun time, and becoming cozy. And becoming an adult need not be a boredom or a kind of a thing that you need to grow up. You still can be a child. You can still have your moments of being that inner child, who wants to bring that attention and care and love for yourself. And that's the biggest thing, right? That's what happens when you go to the beach, when you dip your feet in the water, or you're near the lake, or you go to a new place in town that's opened up for food or candy shop or anything. You just remember being a child, and you have so much fun. And that is your self-care. Like, it need not be that, oh, I should not act this way just because you're grown up, you're 50, you're 70. No, be yourself. What excites you? Don't even think about others. Like, when I was at the Universal Studios, I was noticing like so many people, like, it doesn't matter the ages, so much fun you're having. And that is exactly what we need to do, but not rather wait for the Universal Studios or the beach moments. We can do that even at home. Yeah. So that is so important to incorporate. Um, Juicing or having a cup of tea or sitting in the sunlight, and dry brushing, as said, like with massages like body oil. And these are all the self-care tools for the physical way that we can do as well. And dry brushing, again, that's such a physical act that you are in the moment while you're doing it. Again, you're releasing the energies, which is amazing. And also you are with the process, and you're holding and loving your body as well. Like, again, this is another limiting belief that, oh, we need to go and tell in front of the mirror, I love myself, I love you, my body, and care for you. We were never trained, right? That was such a bizarre thing when I was doing the mirror work from Louise Hay book. And but then as I was doing it, I said, like, oh my God, my body is doing so much, but we don't honor it, we don't respect it, right? We don't take our physical body along with us. We leave it behind as like, it can deal with it, like, my mind, where it is, it's so important. So, yeah, do look into your physical body, how much care you're giving, how much love you're giving. And the whole idea about, like, the body scan meditation or massaging yourself, like, you are witnessing the love for yourself unconditional way. And when you slowly do that, you will start loving everyone as well, deeper layers, and that strength gets so beautiful, because you're just not on the outer surface trying to please or trying to do things just because you're responsible, but you're seeing a soul, you're seeing a divine person in each of them as well. And that is the soul connection, you're creating it. And that's we change our thoughts even when we love someone. Yeah. And you will be inviting more of that love around you. You really then move away from the toxic relations or the narcissistic people around in your life as well. It's like you are raising your vibration, and these are here, the bulliers, the toxic people, and everyone. You're far ahead, and this doesn't bother you at all. But when we don't take care, we are part of it. And actually, in a way, like, we bully our body even worse than anyone else. Like, um like especially with the teenagers, with the eating conditions, it could be like, the addictions we would have put in, the sleep issues we would have put in, and not even listening to our body. If when we are sick, we just take a painkiller and suppress it, and not asking, why am I getting this pain? Even where is it coming from, and what is it telling me? Like, and those are really important to ask ourselves. And a lot of people do say, like, hey, I don't know where the answer is, like, I don't know how to figure it out, what my higher self is telling me. But actually, did we even try listening? Did we even quieten our mind after we asked a question? Maybe not. And this is so important that you tap into that. um, Even doing some tapping as well, you will be uncovering those answers. Yeah, so which is so important. So yeah, those are some of them. And for the mind and for the body we covered, and for the heart, this is so important, where you start opening up your heart center. Heart center is teaching us all about surrendering with, like, having your favorite gratitude journal, or a journal where you're writing. Journal is nothing but a book that you love about, like, I always try to prefer books that are looking cool, like paper blanks or something, moleskin ones, that you really look forward to writing something there. And someone is not into journal, they like typing it, that's perfectly fine. But there is something, the physical shift happens when you hold a pen and a book. Yeah. So when you're writing, you're expressing yourself with no layers, you're being honest. this thing really helps if anyone is into writing, is Artist Way by Julia Campbell. She in her morning pages is the whole idea, where she says to write A4 pages without any thoughts, without any thinking what you want to write. When you wake up first in the morning, turn to your book, keep writing. Some days you'll be pouring down things. Some days you may not even have anything to write, like, still okay, just write. I don't have anything to write. Julia Cameron, thank you. So that was again a game changer for me to get into a journaling process. Like, before I didn't understand. And when you don't need to read those morning pages, I was curious to read afterwards, after a few weeks of writing. And I noticed that, like, oh, I released something that I didn't even knew I was holding on to. Like, there was a lot of let go was happening. There was a lot of grudges, discomforts, and forgiveness, all that was coming out, like, and it didn't have any kind of a format or anything to write it, but I was just, oh, I'm honest being at this moment of time, this is how I feel about this person. And I was honest with my book that I was writing in at that moment. And that's one thing you need to understand is, at this moment of time, this is how I'm feeling, doesn't mean that thought you're having towards a person or a situation is always going to be the same. Right now, someone upset me, I'm going to be angry. Let's be honest. But maybe after 10 months, I'll forgive, I'll move on, like, or maybe I'm still holding it because it's still deep down. Maybe in 10 years' time, I will be releasing it. But the whole thought is, like, someone has hurt us, but we were holding it so tight, we are not releasing, and we are still hurting for 10 years, 10 months. Like, by when you write these things down, you are ready to slowly not hold so tight, loosen up yourself. Yeah, and then you will see shift, because when you are holding tight, definitely our physical bodies are collapsing with health issues as well, like, that tightness in our muscles, like not able to breathe and panics and everything. But when you are releasing, it's releasing into, like, all right, okay, what am I doing here? What is the purpose? Like, a person, you might be so much having grudges. Maybe they are not even on the earth realm anymore. So why are we holding? What is the purpose of it, right? Don't forgive, but don't do damage to yourself. That's the most important thing. Yeah. And writing is the biggest healer that I have found than any, I'm not saying to anyone in particular with the coaching or counseling, but I found personally writing was the best thing in many situations. But of course, like, having a chat, open chat with your trusted friends is the other thing as well. And that's so important for the self-care, where you are able to have a conversation with your soul tribe. That could be your best friend or your neighbor, anyone, but part of your soul tribe who is holding you and witnessing you, your journey. That's so important. Yeah. When you do that, you're also doing that back in their lives as well. So you're having a two-way relationships. Yeah. So do look into having that particular person in your life, or asking the universe, or as I talk to the angels, angels, please send me that beautiful person in my life. When I moved to Seattle, I left all my good friends in Ireland. Of course, down the line, I know, like, we have technologies, we can communicate, but it's not the same as being in person. I'm very much in a person's person, where I love talking right in front of the person, holding them, talking, spending time, rather than the telephone conversations. And I was so asking the universe to send me the soul tribe here, or let me see the soul tribe here in Seattle. And it took like 3 months to find the people, or that I would be feeling connection, like, and then I was, wow, finally I got it. Like, you ask, you do get it, but you sometimes you just need to wait 3 months, or sometimes you just need to wait for 3 hours. Like, it all depends on what we are asking and what is the right thing for you. But you will be getting, and this is again, like, being honest to yourself and asking from that deep soul heart. Yeah. um for the heart, laughing. Laughing is the best thing as well, self-care thing. Now the kids are back in school, like, and if I have to have lunch on my own, I'll be just putting some stand-up comedy shows and I'll be watching it and just laughing, being in the flow of it. I'm just unwinding myself in afternoon, like, before I take on to the next clients or doing any other work later on as well. So having that laugh helps you to relax the whole of your thoughts again. Your face relaxes, and even that smile that shifts the whole thing that you're carrying in throughout the day as well. So have some time doing, and there is this laughter yoga or laughter lounges as well, so do check them out. Yeah, they are going to be changing. Sometimes when you are so consumed with the dramatic life, watching a drama movies may not help, like, or reading a novel which is dramatic doesn't help, like you already have enough in the life. But shifting into something lighter or a jokes or something will definitely shift up. Yeah, and for that moment when you are lightening up, it becomes much easier. um for the spirit, I was holding as, like, having something, like, to shift, like spirit, like, it's all about like the senses as well. With the senses, you are taking care of yourself. For me, the senses would be through the essential oils, like having the essential oil of lavender will be my first go-to, or rose or geranium would be my go-to essential oils, where you put it in the diffuser or in the oil burner and you just get the smell and it just like switches on, like it's your relaxing time. And these senses are so strong that helps you and reminds you to switch off and take care of yourself. Yeah, having something like that is so important as well. And having, sometimes with the self-care you do with yourself, but also sometimes having a partner or a friend, like, the soul tribe that I was saying, to hold each other is important too. As we are holding time for each other, we are being in the commitment and we are holding this as like a sacred thing together. Hey, have you done something this week? What have you done? You get new ideas by having those conversations as well. The last 2 nights, my evening ritual was just watching the moon. It's after a long time I was able to see the full moon with no clouds. So it's just like, just I'm going to spend some time and watch it. That's it. I'm not going to think about like any other chores that I need to do. They all can wait for 10 minutes, like, and surrendering and doing that. That is so important. And you speaking up your voice and telling, hey, then I would be chatting with my friends I know who would be doing that, moon gazers, and chatting, hey, this is what I was observing, this is how I felt, like, and this is like you're flowing with that beautiful sensation for a bit longer as well after you have watched it. Yeah, so having that tribe is so important for those reasons. Again, deeper connections with other tribes. Clutter-free space or smudging, and engaging with the inspirational videos, spending time in the nature. So these are some of the things that I have thought about, like for the spirit that would be helping, and connecting to our spirits, like, yeah, and getting those wisdoms, feeling anchored and grounded. And when you are grounded, we feel more of a self-care coming in the flow. Now with these things, think about, like, with the original list that we were writing it down, like, what are your loving thoughts, like, have you able to do 5 or 10? If you can add more and see what are your best compliments for yourself, what are the best compliments you're giving to yourself right now? I'm beautiful, I love myself no matter what. Do those compliments each and every day. I remember drawing on the mirror as well, with the lipstick. I love myself, to train myself. And by that, like, anytime I would be turning up to the mirror, I'd be seeing it and I will be saying, and in the start, it was really tough. I didn't get my words out properly and I was faking it for sure. And after months of practice, it became more real. I actually truly genuinely love myself now. That is what I can say with the strength. Before, you wouldn't have expected me to say it out, even like with any group. But it does take some practice, it does take some commitment, but we all can do it. And think about, like, we're all coming from the same beautiful source, yet we have our own strengths, we have our own beauty, and this is how we are in that collectiveness. Yeah, giving, sharing, and nobody is higher or lower. We're all in the same thing, same part. It's just that some have finished the university earlier than us, or someone are just doing their university now, like, you're in different phases of it, but we're all having some beautiful unique things. Yeah, and that is where we need to be searching as well within ourselves to begin with. And then when you start searching with other people, you'll be only having loving and kind thoughts, and life gets much easier to deal with the complex relations. And one thing is, complexity is reducing, or you're seeing in a different perspective, different solutions to come up in our lives. Yeah, and especially when we are stuck with the toxic relations, toxic environments in the initial times, it gets very hard to do these things. But even sneaking out, like, 10 minutes into the park and doing self-care, coming back, you are just giving a break from the same cycle of thoughts that you're in. Giving that moment of break is so important. And of course, if you're into Reiki, self-healing practice, that switches off, brings a peace, and that helps you as well. Like, so that's very important. How are you guys finding all that? Was that a lot to consume? I'm sure like most of them might be a gentle reminder. You might be doing some of the things. Yeah. Again, having my cup of tea in the morning, and feeling the feet on the ground and just being there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes is again a self-care that I would be seeing and doing it. And I'm more present than for the rest of the day. And when I don't have some routines, I feel like, oh my God, this is not a flow, but again, like tap into what brings me into the flow or alignment just by that breathing into the belly and breathing out. Again, that is the anchor that I've created, that anytime I do a breathing, I'm just bringing myself fully with attention back in. Yeah. And knowing your what is your self-care plan, and knowing why is it important for you, will help you as well. So you don't have any negotiations, and this is your non-negotiated time that you're giving to yourself. That's the most important thing. Non-negotiated time, like, everything else can wait. When you fix that mindset, this is it. Say I have to pick my child at 6 o'clock, I have to do it. Like, there is no backup there, there is no one negotiating there. But why do we struggle to do that for ourselves? Like, 7 o'clock is my self-care time. That's it. I am honoring myself and tuning up. That's it. There is no ifs and buts, and I'm doing it. That's all. And when you make that commitment, that is your promise to yourself. You're going to be successful. You're going to love that. Yeah. So, I was thinking to do a little meditation from the book, Connect to Your Inner Guide. Are you guys with me? Do you want to do that? There is this quote by Osho: if you love yourself, you love others. If you hate yourself, you hate others. Because in relationship with others, it is only you mirrored. Isn't it so right? Yeah, we do see a reflection. Like if we don't like something, yeah, we are not comfortable. Like Thich Nhat Hanh says, to be beautiful means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You need to accept yourself. And do you guys accept yourself? And let's say, why not, isn't it? Why not? We can't accept ourselves. One other thought that made me is like, I'm loving my children so much. They were only like 1 and 3 years old on the earth. And here I'm loving them so much. Yet I'm like 30 at the time. Why am I not loving myself? What is holding me back? Like, how can I love someone who came out of me, but I can't love myself? And those are some of the other trigger questions as well. When I started to look, no, 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 I should love myself no matter what. These are my children, and I'm telling them I love myself and I love you too. And it's so important. Yeah. All right. Okay. So take a nice, relaxing breath, get into a little comfortable. I thought of it like that. Yeah, June. It was like, looking at them because my little girl, after she was brought, came onto the earth realm, she shifted everything. And I was doing this mirror work, and in front of the mirror, I was so struggling. I was literally crying. And these two girls were in the nappies, and I was hugging them. I didn't feel where the discomfort was coming in for. And I was very early into my journeys where I was like, can I erase my past? Like, I don't want to do the work. Like, I don't want to peel that onion layer. And I saw them right in front of me, walking up to the mirror, half naked or near naked, other than the nappies, and saying, I love myself. They were loving each part of it. The other thing is, the babies, they do keep their feet in their mouth, the toes in the mouth. I absolutely love that. And I always say, oh my God, they love themselves so much. They don't even think about the dirt or anything. We as adults, we think about it and all that we stop. But where did we lose ourselves in loving ourselves? Just because somebody hasn't taught us, but now that we are doing it, we are listening to it, we're reading, we are being inspired, nobody is stopping us now. We better do this, and that's an equation or equal match as well comes up here. And the self-confidence that comes out of loving yourself is just amazing, amazing. You see some of the adults, when they have a good parenting, good positive background, their confidence to get things done in their life is amazing. That always inspires me. Being a conscious parent, I try to do that as well, and not only for my children, but also I parent myself those things that I'm teaching. So bringing your own inner child out with you is very important, very much needed as well. Yeah. All right. Okay. So this is a very short meditation. So get settled in. I'll try to play the music. I know we are a little over time today. It won't take too long. It's 11, 11, 11. How amazing. How amazing. I love that time, which is a new beginnings. All right. Take a nice, relaxing breath. Getting comfortable in the chair or the bed or the couch that you're sitting in. Relaxing your legs, hips, and shoulders. Breathing in from your belly and breathing out. Breathe in. Notice the belly rising and filling up the air. Gently breathe it all out. Breathe in, belly rising up, and breathe out. One more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Imagine yourself in a garden of love. No one is there, just you. Smell the fresh air and grass. Hear the birds singing and the grass dancing for the gentle breeze. Notice the trees' playfulness. Let your thoughts dance in and go with the flow. Watch the bees kissing the flowers. and the little butterflies flapping their wings. This is the heaven of thoughts. Now pay attention to the physical body from your garden of thoughts. Bring this sense of unconditional love and welcome it into your soul. You know you can come back to this heaven anytime you want. Feel the unconditional love in all your cells, body, muscles, in your chakras, in your physical sense. With that beautiful energy, slowly and gently bringing your attention back to the room and to the surroundings. Taking deeper breaths. Becoming aware of your physical body. And gently opening your eyes. Feeling the unconditional love and stretch within yourself. And stretching your hands and the legs. And just visualize the color of love that you would like to name. It can be red, pink, purple, any color that you see. And anytime you think about this color, you're filling yourself with pure love. And when you're ready, you can open eyes and have some water. Thank you guys. Thank you. Welcome back. How are you guys feeling? Hope you enjoyed that talk. Hope you got some pointers to take and implement in your self-love, in your journey now. If you enjoyed this, you can follow me so you get the notifications of the next live. Tomorrow, I have a live with Journey into the Akashic Records. This is about like understanding the soul contracts that we come in with and releasing them. And yeah, if you're interested in that topic, you can say attend so you get a notification, I think 10 or 15 minutes before the event goes live. I think it's at 10:30 tomorrow. Yeah, and there are some meditation tracks as well. If you get time, if you're interested, you can listen and leave a review. I'll be so grateful for that. It does help us to be on the Insighttimer, and your reviews will help to connect for others as well. And yeah, if you are drawn to, you can make a donation here by clicking on that little donation icon. I'd be so grateful for each one of you for that. Thank you so much, guys. It's lovely to connect and share some of the tools. And I do have a podcast on that I'm going to share in the circle for the self-healing tools where, yeah, again, all these are mentioned as well. I think even more. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Melanie. Feeling very inspired. And just now say, looking at your self-care thing or the loving yourself, now just draw a big heart to it and just say, I love myself. Say it out loud. Say it out loud. It doesn't matter who is there with you, who is not there with you. Say it out loud and in your mind's eye as well. Repeat that. And this becomes your new mantra, new affirmation. Say like fake it until you make it. Like, do that placebo. You will see the change. You will start loving yourself. And truly, truly, like, nobody is different. Not for someone, it's easier than others. We all have our own little dots of things in our life, but yet on the bigger picture, we are all lovable. And that's all that matters. Definitely. That's a bigger thing that you always need to be looking at. And without doing our healing journey, nobody is there on a pedestal. We all come onto the pedestal at some time or the other. Definitely. So thank you so much, guys, for being here, doing this, and being in this beautiful soul tribe. If you have anything you would like to share, you can definitely send a personal message. Love to be in connection, and see you guys in the circle. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Yay. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be a deep dive meditation and a different portal. Yeah. Thank you so much, Diane. Thank you so much. Yeah, honored to be here and to connect with you guys. Lots of love. Stay safe and healthy. Namaste. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.